Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? First of all, can you hear me? Trusting you can. Yesterday, I started the video and the technology was not working and no one could hear me. So let me check and see. Yes, good morning, Jerry says. I assume you can hear me. Grateful to see you all this morning. And yeah, okay, so I'm Reverend Dr. Jonathan Zenz. This is a weird start today. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 26th. It is 8:30 a.m. right here in the old Pueblo, Tucson, Arizona, my hometown where I was born and raised. And it is time for our mindful moment. As I said, I am Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I am the spiritual leader here at Unity of Tucson. And the mindful moment is an opportunity we take every single weekday morning at 8:30 to join together to acknowledge some spiritual ideas, to talk about some spiritual ideas, to uncover our relationship to some spiritual ideas, and then to concretize a higher quality of life, to solidify our higher quality of life through the practice of affirmative prayer. So that's what this is all about. And I'm so grateful that you join me here every single morning. Or even if you're watching on the archive, you may be watching this in the afternoon, you may be watching it at midnight. I don't know, but I am live in the mornings, mostly live. Occasionally, I have to do a pre-recorded version of it, but yeah. Let me see who is joining us here. We already see Jerry. Grateful to see you, Jerry. William and Anita are here. Love to you right back. Sherry, I can always hear you vibrationally. Well, that's good to know. And I always can hear you vibrationally. Roberta is saying yes, she can hear. Sherry is saying happy day to all. Keep those comments coming. I love to see the comments, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Elise Carver, good morning to you. I'm so excited to see you soon this weekend. Delighted. And yeah, so excited. I do, of course, want to offer my reminder, which is to say this: you are love, you are light, you are life, you are magnificent. And I'm so grateful that you shine your light and share your magnificence with the world. Thank you for doing that. Keep doing that. Yeah. Um, Marvis, hello everyone. Grateful to see you here as well, Marvis. So today, oh, I got a lot going on for me today. I was really reflecting this morning on a primary piece of my message from this past Sunday, which is I talked a lot about principle. I defined principle. I talked about how we look at God as principle and all of that. And um, I started thinking about, that can feel really obtuse. Uh, this mindful moment may not help. I'm just going to give you fair warning. This mindful moment may not help. But one of the things I really wanted to look at is principle in relationship to what Troward calls the divine ideal. And I'm going to talk about both of those things in terms of how we put those to use in our lives. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about the divine principle. I believe this was primarily coined by Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teachers, a rather substantial figure in the New Thought movement. She was the teacher of the Fillmores. She was the teacher of Nona Brooks and Melinda Kramer, who founded Divine Science. She was the teacher of Ernest Holmes. She was the teacher of Emily Cady. She is the teacher of teachers. And if you don't know who any of those names are, don't stress about that. Those are luminaries in the New Thought movement. Those are major philosophers and mystics in the New Thought movement. So Emma Curtis Hopkins offered this way of understanding the divine principle, and I'm giving it that definite article, the divine principle, which is this. The divine principle is we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law. And that spiritual law is a law of cause and effect. It is a law of mind action. It is the law that what we think creates in our experience, what we believe creates in our experience. And so, if that is a foundational part of our teaching, we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law, then everything flows forth from that principle. So that's the divine principle. Now, this has a relationship to what Troward called the divine ideal. And the divine ideal essentially states, actually, I'm going to go to what he says about the divine ideal. I pulled it up in his book, The Creative Process in the Individual. And right now, I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to read this. It's going to probably have a little bit of like a word salad feeling, but just allow yourself to take in these words. Don't try to understand them specifically, just take in the feeling of them. He wrote this. This, it seems to me, is the divine ideal. That of an individuality which recognizes its source and recognizes also the method by which it springs from that source, and which is therefore able to open up in itself a channel by which that source can flow in uninterruptedly, with the result that from the moment of this recognition, the individual lives directly from the originating life as being himself a spiritual direct creation and not merely as being a member of a generic race. The individual who has reached this stage of recognition thus finds the principle of enduring life within himself. So then the next question is, in what way is the principle likely to manifest itself? Basically, what he's saying there is, we are that which is. Individuality which recognizes its source, we who recognize that God, source energy, is who we are, and recognizes also the method by which it springs from that source. The method by which we have come into being is an action of source upon itself. So I know a lot of word salad, a lot of like, what the heck is Dr. Jonathan talking about? He's basically saying this: you are the power and the presence, and you have dominion over the expression of your life. That's the divine ideal. We are the ideal expression of the divine. That's who we are. Emily Cady, in Lessons in Truth, offers it this way. God, then, is not, as many of us have been taught to believe, a big personage or man residing somewhere in a beautiful region in the sky called heaven, where good people go when they die and see him clothed in ineffable glory. Nor is he a stern, angry judge only awaiting opportunities somewhere to punish bad people who have failed to live a perfect life here. God is spirit, or the creative energy that is the cause of all visible things. God as spirit is the invisible life and intelligence underlying all physical things. There could be no body or visible part to anything unless there were first spirit as creative cause. So how do we use this? How do we use this? Well, if God is creative cause, if the source energy is creative cause, and we are that source energy, then we are consistently causing things to happen. Basically, what I'm going to is a foundational premise. God is, we are. God is, I am. And that's how I invite people to really undertake the practice of prayer, to really learn prayer from the point of view that it is the expression of God as us. And that we're not praying to God, we are praying from the point of view, we're praying from the consciousness of God. We are praying as God. And so as we state our magnificence, as we understand the truth of who we are, everything else must be in alignment with that. So you will often, in fact, if you're in the prayer class with me, we will get to this point eventually, where I think some of the most powerful ways of practicing prayer is to root ourselves in that understanding of the divine ideal. God is, I am. I am. God is. There's no separation. And in that, all realization, all declaration, everything that follows maybe doesn't even need to be spoken because it becomes an assurance for us. When we know who we are, when we remember who we are, see, there it is, part of the mission statement. When we remember who we are, when we acknowledge the truth of our being, then how can anything happen other than the expansive, high quality of life we want to experience? Where this gets challenged sometimes, and the only place where discord shows up in our lives is when we live within any construct of doubt around that. And it's not to beat ourselves up to say, oh my gosh, I have doubt. And so my life is showing up in an adverse way. No, it's to say, I may have doubt that I need to address. Let go of the weight of the doubt and allow the good to flow. That's a lot today. I know. I know it's a lot today, but it's really resonant in my mind today. That's really just, I feel really motivated by that as I look at life and I say, what's not, here's the thing, as I look at life and I say, what feels like it's not working for me? I don't need to go and try and coerce it into working for me. I need to revisit my own heart and mind and allow myself to come into a greater alignment, releasing the doubt, crowding out the doubt with the spiritual truth. God is, I am, and trust that what flows is good. So let's let that be the prayer today. Let's allow that to be our affirmative prayer. Let us concretize, let's solidify that truly today, perhaps more than ever before. That's the plan. And invite us all to relax right where we are, to gently allow an open acknowledgement of this understanding as we find ourselves in center, turning the attention to the activity of the inner life. I'm rooted in this understanding. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. I let my active mind focus on that here and now. God is, I am. God is, I am. For there is no aspect of creation that is not wholly God's source energy. There is the divine resource, there is the divine source, and nothing else. And that is what we are, each and every one of us. God is, I am, we are. The totality of us is wholly divine. God is, I am, we are. I choose to live in an acceptance of this as the basis from which all expression in my life springs forth. So everything that shows up is rooted in the construct that God is, I am. And I hold this as a fundamental truth of being for each and every one of us. God is, I am, we are. And so I needn't work so hard. I release the need to coerce or control. I trust in the flow of the infinite in all expression. Because God is, I am, we are. I allow an acceptance of this to be rooted in the habitual state of mind that allows the goodness to flow always. God is, I am, we are. And so I feel this with a sense of gratitude and appreciation overflowing from within. I trust and know this to be so. God is, I am, we are. That is what I allow to be understood as the truth of being. And in this allowance, I simply trust in the flow, in every aspect of being, and with gratitude and appreciation overflowing, and in a state of mindful trust, I acknowledge this word spoken, rooted in a belief that God is, I am, we are, is reflected in all experience. And so I step out of the way and trust. I let it be so and affirm it as so by saying, and so it is. Hmm. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Always delighted to share this time with you. Diane, on a day trip, this connection is a good start. Lovely. Silvana, good morning to you. Sherry, now excited for the Thomas Troyer course. Yes, that'll be happening next spring. Marvis, ringing my bell, and thank you for the reminder. And look, it's my dear friend, my colleague, my soul brother, Patrick, Reverend Patrick Farron. Mahalo to you. I'm so excited to see the changes that are happening in Kauai, and looking forward to seeing your new space. Blessings to having you here. So there we are, another glorious mindful moment to start the day. And I trust that we carry this with us into our day, and the experience blesses us all. As a reminder, of course, this is going to be the big news basically now until it happens, but we have our gratitude gala coming up November 10th, 2023 at the 49ers Country Club. You can get your tickets if you haven't already at the Desert Light Book and Gift Store here at Unity of Tucson. You can get them online at unitytucson.com or scan the code, which will also take you to the website. Yes. Oh, I was going to show you. So we have a silent auction that's going to be part of it. And I got this in the mail today for the silent auction. The Invisible Theater donating 2 individual tickets to our silent auction. So this is one of the items that will be up for a bid in the silent auction. Super excited for that. All right. I'm going to log off. I've been on for almost 20 minutes. Can you believe it? You probably can, because what did I say? What did I say on Sunday? I said, why would a minister say in one word what he could say in 100? It's the nature of ministry sometimes. I love you all. Peace and blessings. I'll see you again tomorrow for the mindful moment. Be well.